This is the Illuminate Podcast, a Sandy Boy production. Each week on the Illuminate Podcast, the hosts will bring you insightful conversations and stories of people who are illuminating their own lives through their business, work, community, family, and world. Hello and welcome to the Illuminate Podcast. I'm your host, Emma Benner, and today I'm sharing episode 64 with Yuri Williams. Yuri is the founder of the nonprofit organization A Future Superhero and Friends. He started the nonprofit after his mom passed away from cancer in 2009, and in this episode he shares all about what his mom taught him and the kind, compassionate, and giving traits that she passed on to him. His nonprofit is really unique because it isn't just tied to helping one group or community. He really strives to make an impact on the lives of many. This includes the elderly, children, veterans, individuals experiencing homelessness, kids in hospitals, individuals with disabilities, and so many more. Within his nonprofit, he has put together so many cool projects and events, including blood drives, movie nights, toy drives, feeding and clothing the homeless, and he even has visited all 50 states while doing a good deed in each state along the way. Yuri is one of those people that gives everything he has, time, money, resources, and so much more to help others and make this world a better place. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Yuri and leave the conversation ready to do your own acts of kindness in your community as well. All right, today on the podcast, I am chatting with Yuri Williams. Yuri, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you have a really special story about how you lost your mother to cancer and came away from that with the idea of starting this new adventure, which has turned into your nonprofit, which is a future superhero and friends.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so it seems like all of this kind of stemmed from your mom and the kindness, empathy, and loving nature that she instilled in you. Going all the way back, what was your childhood like growing up with her?
It was fun because I used to go to work with her. She used to be a correctional officer and went on to become a probation officer. So I kind of, took a sponge, and whatever she did, I would suck it all in and, just end up following her footsteps. And I'm a correctional officer in a mental health unit for 20 years now.
Very cool. Then in 2009, you lost your mom to cancer. And I do want to pause here just to say how sorry I am for the loss of your mother. And especially at such a young age, that must have been pretty life-changing and hard on you.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a 5-year period of depression. I've never been depressed in my life. I never knew what it was. I've seen people depressed, but, actually feeling it for 5 years and just holding it in. And, eventually I just said, I can't, live life like this. And that's how I decided that I needed to do something. And I used the tools that she taught me, that was given. And I've been doing that every day since then.
Mm-hmm. What are some of those values that she instilled in you that you hope to carry on in your own life today?
Just to show people love and compassion. Number one thing with her was respect, and not always assuming just by looking at somebody you can read them, she would just tell me, you see these people out here are starving and homeless. That doesn't mean they're alcoholic or a drug addict. A lot of these people assume that just because you're homeless, you're a drug addict or whatnot. But I mean, with this COVID going on, some people will become homeless because of that. So you can't just make assumptions with people all the time.
Good point. Yeah, I just did an interview with Blue Robinson, who's the founder of Addict to Athlete, and he really spoke about that too, just how a lot of times people like to label people who are struggling with addiction as addicts, and that's not that's not all they are. You know, they have a lot more to their life than just that. And that's the
Right.
same with people that are homeless. And really, anyone in any walk of life has a lot more to them and a lot more going on than just what you see.
Right. That's true. So true.
So, did you feel that throwing yourself into helping others was kind of a big way to help you cope with the loss of your mother and find really a greater purpose and to pull yourself out of that depression?
Yes. I mean, to be honest, if my mom was here today, I don't think I would be as giving and caring and loving as I am. I mean, I probably would be, but not to the extent of what I'm doing it to now, and sometimes it takes death or something to happen or trauma or something for you to realize or find your purpose. And, her passing I was able to find my purpose.
Before you lost her, were you doing any type of the work that you do now?
Yes, I was always a magnet to homeless people because I remember my neighbor was homeless and I was probably about 8 years old, and I'll never forget my mom gave him $20, and I think it was probably her last $20. We had just went grocery shopping, but she was going to get paid, that Friday, I believe. But she just told me, just imagine being out here and not knowing what's going to happen. At least, he has something to eat. And later on, I guess him and his wife or whatever, they worked it out and she took him back in or whatnot. But that was my first time experiencing seeing a homeless person.
And is that moment kind of what drew you to helping homeless people specifically?
Yeah, I would say that moment in general probably was because I was able to relate and see, at a young age what, homelessness is. Now in LA, I've been to all 50 states and we have the worst crisis going on right here, of homeless people. And it's just getting higher and higher with this COVID, and it's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah. So you have it right in your backyard, being able to help.
Yeah, right.
So you lost your mom, and then you kind of started visiting kids with cancer in the hospital and homeless people while you were in a Spider-Man costume. Talk about that a little bit.
It's always funny because as a kid, I always loved Spider-Man, and I believe I got my first Spider-Man toy from her job. She worked at a jail, and parents would come visit their kids and bring toys, and you weren't allowed to have toys there. So, every time somebody would bring a toy, they would either have to throw it away or, I would end up taking it, and I took it. And a lot of the times the toys were different Spider-Man, and I just got attracted to Spider-Man because he was a superhero and he wore a costume and he did kind acts and helped people. And you never knew who he was until, he took the mask off. And that's how I feel. I feel like a superhero, and I like to wear that costume and just bring people joy.
So were you doing that right after your mom passed, or did it take a while after?
I would say probably like a year after. I just sat down and, the first day of work, when I went back to work, I usually called her every morning to wake her up to get her morning started, which I start at 6 in the morning. So I called her about 5:30, let her know, it's time for you to get up and do what you're going to do, And that day when I returned to work, I called her and she wasn't here anymore. And it just tore me up. And I sat in the car for probably about an hour. And I didn't have a Facebook account at the time. And I was just like, I got to get myself together. I called my job and told them I'd be late about an hour so I could just get my mind right for the 16-hour shift that I had. And it's just crazy that I went on Facebook and I created an account. And the first person that popped up was Officer Tommy Norman, which I've built a relationship with and a good friendship, brothership with this man. And what he does is he's a police officer in North Little Rock. He polices his community during, while on his shift. And when he's off, he goes still around the neighborhood and looks out for the community. I just thought to myself, I'm like, dang, I do that as well. I'm a peace officer as well. And then the next person that popped up was Strider, which he dresses up as a red stormtrooper. And I love Star Wars too. So that's when I decided to put Tommy Norman and Strider together and myself, and then a future superhero became, and I just thought of different ways to wear that costume and just uplift people. And wearing that costume is somewhat of the distraction to like homeless people or children because it just brings you back to your childhood, and if I'm wearing that suit and I see a homeless person, they laugh, and that's when I got your attention. And, it's a distraction for me to dig in to see how I can help you.
Yeah, and I bet people kind of want to go on a deeper level, talk about more things than they would if they were looking someone directly in the eyes. Maybe does the costume kind of give you a little leeway into getting deeper into people's stories?
Right. That's exactly what it does. And I mean, it's a lot of times that I've worn that costume and, I've seen people cry and just break down. And I don't think they would have done that had I not had the costume on.
Okay, so then in 2017, your nonprofit was officially established.
Yes.
What made you decide to start the nonprofit rather than keep doing this independently?
It was getting to the point where these costumes that I was purchasing were they're like screen accurate costumes. It's not like your Toys R Us, Target type costumes, and it was getting pretty pricey. And I was like, if I want to continue this, I'm going to have to, ask for help. And, I always hated asking people for help, but it was just to the point where I couldn't afford $4,500 every, 3 months or so, because I could possibly become homeless myself. I was given so much to a point one time that, I had to check my account and be like, man, you gotta stop, because it's just fulfilling, that I love to see people's reaction when I just walk up to them and say, hey, how you doing? You need anything? Can I help you out? And just to sit there for 30 minutes and have these people talk to you, and I built so many relationships with people, homeless people on the streets. Even there's a man that lives in my neighborhood. He's 73 years old, and he's the nicest guy you would ever meet. All he wanted to do was just clean up the neighborhood around him. And, I said, well, if you're going to do that, then, I'm going to look out for you. And I've been helping him every week, ever since I met him.
So I know now in your nonprofit, you do a lot of like backpack giveaways and different type of things to help people experiencing homelessness and children in hospitals. And you do a lot of fundraising for that sort of thing. But during that time frame of, say, 2010 to 2017, when your nonprofit was started, were you doing that sort of things? Or during that time, were you kind of just visiting children in hospitals and homeless people on the streets and kind of just giving them a friendship?
Yeah, I mean, I was still out there doing it, not as to the level as I have been, but I was still out there, buying the homeless food and hygiene products. And I would still go speak to, high schools and stuff like that, but not to the level that I'm at now.
So what went into naming the nonprofit? I just think naming things is one of the hardest things for me. It's so hard to come up with something creative, catchy, and that just sounds good, I guess. So how did you choose the name A Future Superhero?
I was at work one day and, I just like to jot stuff down of missions. I call them missions. And I put that down. I needed to write the title of my nonprofit. And I asked my coworker, what do you think is a good name? She's like, you act like a superhero. You're always trying to save us at work. And I was like, that's a good one. And I wrote down superhero. And then, I got home and my mind is always wandering. So I said, how about a future superhero? And I said to myself, when I pass away, another future superhero will be born or is already born. So, and then, I have friends. So I was like a future superhero and friends. And that was it.
Do you have other people helping you with the organization? So do you have a board of people or different volunteers that help you?
Yes, we have a board and also volunteers as well.
So some of the main focus areas that you list are animals, childhood cancer, disabilities, homeless, seniors, and many more. What would you say is your kind of area of passion? Like, what focus area do you love helping the most?
That's hard because I just say I like octopus hands. I just like to have my hands all over the place and not forget anybody. That's why I've chose to do so many different things. But, children are probably the number one focus, small children, because they are the future, and I just try to install love and compassion into these children and, show them that, there is somebody out there that cares. So when they become older, they can just keep recycling that love and compassion to other people as well.
Yeah, I think that's what's so interesting about your nonprofit is a lot of times a nonprofit will focus specifically on childhood cancer or specifically on individuals with disabilities. or animals or whatever their focus is. But then looking at yours, you do have your hands into everything. And it's really unique for a nonprofit to do that. Do you think that makes you face a challenge with like fundraising or, getting volunteers or things like that, just because it's not like someone comes with a specific passion. They kind of have to be open to everything.
Right. I do have a hard time sometimes with the grants because they do look at that, and I have to tell them that I chose to take on every aspect and every culture, everything, because there's not just one department that's hurting. There's a lot of people that are hurting and in need, and if you decide not to give me this grant because I'm not just serving the homeless only, then that's fine. But I just keep knocking and knocking, and the doors have been opening for me. I've had a lot of doors shut, but the people don't understand what type of work I do. They never look at the website. They never, go on the Instagram page and see how much I've done by myself. I've done a lot more than a lot of people. I'm not bragging or boasting, but have done a lot more than a lot of people that have done things that get rewarded.
Yeah. How are you getting some of your funds?
Just fundraising, and people see and believe in what I do. I've been doing this so long before the nonprofit. So, you can go back to the beginning of my first post on Instagram and see where I became with nothing, and I was out there sending packages to Officer Norman out of my own pocket. I used to work crazy overtime shifts, probably, I say, an extra 40 to 60 hours every 2 weeks on top of 40 hours just to do what I do. People never knew that until now. And I will continue to do if I have to get a second job or whatever to keep the nonprofit going, because I always tell people it's not about me getting the shine and all that. It's about helping other people. So somebody else can see it and they do it. And then somebody else see it and they do it,
What are some of the projects and programs that you put on in your nonprofit?
We have a art program. My art program coordinator, Juan Carlos, he's a graphic artist. He's been doing that for 20 years. And I've always loved music and art, but I could never draw. Stick figures was probably the highest of level I could do, But with him, I'm able to provide an art program with these children. And hopefully in the near future or soon, we can get a building where we can have after-school programs to teach these children about art and how they can possibly become graphic artists and get jobs,
And can you talk about, you have some upcoming events that you're putting on, such as that backpack drive, I believe I saw?
Yes.
What's that all about?
That backpack drive is specifically for children with special needs and disabilities. I felt that a lot of these drives, they don't cater to that community. So I said, it's time that I need to cater and give back to these communities, because a lot of these children with autism and some children are blind or whatnot, and they are affected by different sounds. And I just want to make it convenient and caring and just show everybody that I'm here to cater to this community as well as any other community. And we also have a following week, we'll be giving away STEAM bags, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. It will be a bag full of different items pertaining to all of those subjects. And also there'll be big art material in there, such as a canvas, paints, paintbrushes, and other items so they can create their own masterpieces.
Do you have any stats of how many backpacks you've collected to give away?
Yeah, so far we have 409, and
wow.
We have 400 people confirmed to come out already. So
wow, awesome.
Gonna have to buy some more backpacks possibly.
Yeah, where are you collecting these from? Is a certain business sponsoring you?
No, nobody's sponsoring us. We just went out. We have an Amazon wish list where some people have sent backpacks. I had to purchase these backpacks on my own.
So you really are putting a lot of your own money into this nonprofit.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think just because when you start a nonprofit that everybody's going to run to you and you're going to be able to get these funds, but it's not like that. And I apply for grants left and right. I've been denied probably about 30 grants this year, but I don't let that bother me. And there's a lot of times that people are going to tell me no, but you've seen the work that I do, and I love doing it, so I can't let anybody stop me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm just so inspired by the giving nature that you have to really throw all your money towards other people, and not just your money, but your time and your energy, and just you're giving so much to so many people in your area and really across the country.
Yeah. I mean, I've come I'm from South Central LA, and a lot of my friends, we weren't supposed to make it past 18. I'm 43 years old, and this is the way that I pay back my rent here on earth, is just to give back. And there's nothing greater than, inspiring others to do something positive, and that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
So what are you doing for work outside of the nonprofit again?
Correctional officer for probation department for 20 years now.
Oh, really? Very cool. What got you interested in doing that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, going to work with my mom, I actually got to work side by side with her when I was a student worker. And, I used to write up reports and see that side of the probation field as well. And, I just decided that I would rather stay correctional officer than probation officer, to be able to talk to these kids every single day, and I work in a mental health unit. And this prepares me kind of to deal with the mental issues that are going on the streets. I can use what I do every day and hopefully use some of those tools that I have on the people that I see on the street as well.
What age range are you working with?
Anywhere from 8 years old to 20 plus.
What are their backgrounds that bring them to you?
I mean, just like low-income families, gang environment, drugs, parents being on drugs, and, just the different elements of such like that.
Yeah, wow. Another area that you're really impacting people and helping change lives in your everyday work as well.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the nonprofit being kind of full-time, and that you're maybe not even making money doing that, but you're able to be in a stable place where you can put more full-time energy into running your nonprofit?
Yeah, that's my goal. I have 5 more years, unless I win the lottery tomorrow or so. But that is my main goal, is to just focus on getting a building for after-school programs for these kids to use computers, and this art is and music and different type of things that these kids like, and just encourage them to keep going after their dreams.
I love that. So you've traveled to all 50 states twice?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What kind of inspired you to do that?
Again, I was on Instagram, and a good friend of mine, he's my brother now, Rodney Smith Jr., I saw him mowing lawns. He mows lawns every single day for single mothers, veterans, disabled, and low-income families. And this is his everyday job. And we have the same heart. Talk to him like every day, almost every other day or so. But just seeing what he does and what I do, I just said, it's all right if I roll with you one of these trips or whatever. And he was like, man, come on. That first trip we went, it was like I just felt like a kid again, like, waiting for Christmas, and, the different people that you see, while he was out there mowing, I'm going to visit an ill child, or, we'll visit the hospital, and I'm like, dang, I could do this every day, and I see why he does that every day. And this last trip, we went on a Christmas tour where, we saw homeless people and we visited ill children again. And, we're going through snow, we're going through rain, we're just going through all types of weather, and got to see. First time I never saw it snow, and I just felt like a kid again, and in one of my videos, I'm throwing snow in the air, and it just brings back the joy of being a kid. But while we're out there, we're seeing homeless veterans, we're seeing people that used to have jobs, and lawyers, doctors, and whatnot. And what really got me is recently, there's a gentleman that we helped in West Virginia. He's a veteran. He was an alcoholic, and somebody saw this video, and I guess he got hold to his sister, and somehow, they were able to get him help, and now he's about sober. I don't know how many months, but they showed us a picture of when we took the picture with him till now, and he looks a totally different person.
Yeah, wow. So this friend of yours was mowing lawns around the country, or just in one area? Oh, okay. Yes, so he was traveling around and doing that.
Yes, he's done it 8 times already. Yeah.
Oh, really? How does he choose? Like, how does he find the people state to state?
Well, Instagram and social media now is so easy to, he just puts it out there. I'm coming, doing a 50-state tour. I'm headed your way. And people reach out to other people, and, he just contacts you, and, he'll come out and mow your lawn.
So were you mowing too, or you were doing more
No,
other type of work?
I was doing something else. That mower is too, I don't know how he does that, but it's too heavy for me to be pushing like that.
Okay, yeah. So you were doing your typical work of visiting hospitals and
Yeah.
homeless people. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was the favorite place that you went?
Oh man, I got a few. I love Boston. I'm a Red Sox fan. I
Okay.
love Boston, New Mexico, Utah. I love Denver. Denver's probably number one.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Did you do a lot of like traveling around too while you were there?
Nah, I mean we got, we did our thing, and the last trip we did it in 26 days. So we were in and out. We were doing the mission and going to sleep. I mean we barely got any sleep. But there's a couple times we went to a hotel just to shower, and then we were right back on the road again.
You did 50 states in 26 days?
26 days, yes.
No way.
Yes.
All driving?
All
driving
driving.
across? Wow.
Except,
crazy.
Alaska and Hawaii, we had to fly over.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was fun though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm from Minnesota. I got to hear, what'd you do in Minnesota?
I think that last day I just went to sleep. I wanted to go to Prince's house, but
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to go over there.
So were you doing kind of your nonprofit work in each state, or some of them you were just driving through?
Yeah, no, we did each state.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. So then what's next? What do you see next in this next steps of the nonprofit?
Like I said, my main focus is to get that building for the after school program and workshops to do more. I need this building to store food for the homeless, because my storage, I can't store food in there. I only have like hygiene items in that storage, and I mean it's over flooded right now. And I just went there yesterday and I opened it. I'm like, I got to get some of this stuff out of here. So I plan this week to make a bunch of hygiene kits and stuff, and try to knock down all those items that I have in there.
Are you sleeping, or do you just work constantly?
I say I sleep probably, all I need is a good 4 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And, people say it's bad for me, but that's my body, and I know my body, and I'm capable of, doing a 16-hour shift 3 days in a row. All I need is 4 hours of sleep, and I'm good to go.
Wow. It just seems like with your daily job and then doing this nonprofit work, it seems like you're go nonstop.
Yeah. I mean, I am, my mind is wandering just like every day. Like, what can I do? What can I do tomorrow? Like, and my buddy Carlos, he's always like, man, you need to slow down. You just nonstop, man. You're nonstop. I'm like, that's just how I'm driven, man,
Right. Yeah. If you love it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years with it?
I mean, there's still more dreams and goals. Like, I want to travel to 7 continents too, and help people in different countries, and just show everybody everywhere that this is what we should be all doing, not just watching TV all the time and going to these sporting events and spending our money on stuff that we can't get back, like uplifting people is probably one of the most important things that we all should be doing in life, regardless of how much money you make or not. All you can do is hold a door open for somebody. That's helping somebody. People think everything is monetary and money wise, and it's not. I just want to be able to be comfortable, whereas I can help as many people as I can. I know I can't save the world, but I'm gonna still try my hardest too.
Did you do anything specific to COVID when all the shutdowns happened, or throughout the whole thing?
Yeah, somebody had to step up, and I decided that, I needed to be the person. And Easter was around that time when, it was really in effect. And Easter was really big for me coming up as a kid, doing that Easter egg hunt and this and that. And I just thought of ways that something that I could do. And, I said, well, I got 165 bags made of Easter coloring books and stuff like that. And I went to 160 different homes and delivered these bags to children, and just to get their mind off of this COVID and stuff like that, and I went on to Nextdoor and asked people if they needed help. I delivered groceries for people, the elderly. There was one child, her mom had just lost her job, and she takes 20 different medications, and I think it was about $300 to $600 for these meds. And she texts me and she's like, if you can't afford it, then I understand. And, I talked to her And I told her I was going to get it. And she's like, are you sure? I know that's a lot. I was like, don't worry about it. So, I went to her home and I delivered her $300 for groceries and I gave her $300 for meds and she just broke down.
It's crazy what social media can do, too, that you can find these people through that. I mean, you talk about just even the Nextdoor app is so cool how it can connect a community and you can find out what your neighbor is in need of.
Right. And, I've talked to a couple of friends and I told them, this is what I'm doing. I posted it on Instagram and, that's when people would reach out and send donations for me to go help these people.
What kind of problems do you see going forward that have arisen because of COVID that you kind of want to tackle?
It's kind of hard to do the things we used to do. Like I can't visit the hospital, but I did donate 300 toys to the hospital in Long Beach. I know I can't visit people at their homes because of this, but I've took to FaceTiming children. I just find different ways that could still do my thing, like the steam bags. We're not going to be able to physically handshake or do anything like that, but I will be able to be there with Deadpool Ross and place the steam bag on the porch and wave at the kids. I still just have to think of other ways to go around this. And I can't pull up and at the park and do the events like we used to do, like the coloring stations and all that stuff because of this. But I am going to try to do that again, but we'll have to make reservations, whereas only 2 or 3 kids will be able to come out and color. But I mean, I just want to get people out the house, stop just watching TV and watching this negativity all day.
What are the coloring stations?
Yeah, the art coordinator, what he does, he'll bring out a canvas bag, and the kids can color on the bag, or we have coloring art sheets where we'll make up of the city, and the kids can color on. They can press down and put the paint on top of their bag and color it and do whatever they want.
Very cool. You have so many different programs and projects and events that you put on. It just seems like it's endless.
Yeah. I try to do as much as I can so we can cater to everyone.
How do you come up with the ideas?
Like I said, maybe when I pass away, they can study my brain and see what's going on, because I'm always thinking of something. It really happens before I go to sleep. I just think of stuff, the upcoming things to do, and then I just store it in my head and come up with it.
So I just love your organization and everything that you do.
Thank you.
All right. And for the end of the podcast questions, what is one book that you've read recently or that you love the most?
Jeez Louise.
Or maybe it's a children's book that you like giving to kids or anything of that sort.
I cannot think of the name of this book, and I just bought it. Goodness gracious, it's a kid's book. I can't think of the name of it right now, and I just looked at it yesterday when I was in my storage. It's like a child. He's a kid, but he becomes a superhero. Okay. I just can't think of the name of it, but it's a good little book for kids to have so they can learn how to become a superhero.
Yeah, you'll have to send me the name and then I'll put it in the show notes for everyone to see.
Okay.
Who is someone or what is something in your life that is illuminating or inspiring you?
I think my brother Rodney Smith Jr. inspires me to keep going, because I talk to him every day, and we bounce ideas off of each other, and I needed somebody like this in my life, because I would hit brick walls and I would get mad and frustrated, but now it seems I could talk to him, and he's telling me, don't worry about it, it's going to come through, and it always does, and he's helped me out a lot too through this storm, and I really think that I really think if I hadn't lost my mother, I don't know if I would even be doing this to this level,
Mm-hmm.
And I always think about that all the time.
Yeah. What is another nonprofit organization that you would like to share about?
Paulie's Project.
What is that? I don't know about it.
His son is blind and autistic, and what he does is he services the homeless community in Skid Row, and he's been doing that for years. And one day he took his son out there, and I guess they somehow somebody gave his son a radio, and then that's why he got attracted to music. So him and his son went back out and they gave out radios to the homeless, and that has been his signature is radio, bringing music to the homeless, because not just music, but the news and everything else, because they're out there, without a watch. They don't know what day it is. At least they have a radio to keep them entertained.
I love that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
And then what is your one message to send to the world?
Just to be kind and respect each other. It's a lot of disrespect going on right now, but I mean, loving and caring and love will put the evil over everything. You just have to take time and step back and love. It's that simple. It's hard to explain, but I mean, I've just fell in love with loving people,
Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Yuri Williams today. If you want to continue to follow along with all that he is doing with his nonprofit, you can find him on Instagram at A Future Superhero, on Facebook at A Future Superhero and Friends, or over on his website at afuturesuperhero.com. And make sure to give the Illuminate podcast a follow. You can find us on Twitter at illuminate_pod or on Instagram at the Illuminate podcast. And don't forget to leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. This is the best way to help us grow the show and find new listeners. All right, I hope my conversation with Yuri today inspired you to go out and do something good or kind for those around you. We can always use a little bit more of that in this world. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.